us remain standing as we go before our Lord and Maker, asking him to guide and direct this meeting tonight. Brother Carl McQueen.
Eternal Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. As we come to begin this meeting, we recognize your presence in our midst. But in humility, we humble ourselves and ask for your divine guidance. May your Holy Spirit cover us tonight, and even as your servants administer the truth, the words that you have imparted unto them, so that even those who are listening in our immediate surrounding and even those online, the message will be established and understand clearly so that they can make a decisive decision, one that will help our country, our island to move forward in a mighty way under the stewardship of the People's National Movement. We ask you, Lord, to take full control of tonight's events. These and all other mercies we ask with thanksgiving in Jesus' name.
Amen. Please be seated. Thank you very kindly, Brother Carl McQueen, and let me extend a warm welcome to all those of you who have gathered at this crucial moment in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And my brothers and sisters, we have gathered here to listen to the truth as only can be proclaimed from the platform of the People's National Movement. Tonight, I want to welcome those of you who are on the social media, all the platforms. I want to welcome you who are present here, and I want to welcome you who are on the outside. And tonight, we are going to have a nice time conversing with you, impressing upon your mind, asking you to think as you go through this period. Because my brothers and sisters, as you will be aware, we are faced with a very crucial period, a period that a stable government, only a stable government could take us through. And so we have a batch of speakers, and they will be conversing with you. So I'd like for you to listen carefully. I'd like for you to think as you listen. And I'd like for you, more than that, to heed the advice and the instructions coming from this platform. I want to tell you that the PNM is blessed with great human beings, young, old, in between like me. The PNM is blessed with speakers. The PNM is blessed with wise men and women. The PNM is blessed with loyal people, not just to the PNM, but to the country. And so tonight, we have as a representative of the Tobago people in the Trinidad and Tobago Senate, and he is going to address you as our first speaker tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like for you to put your hands together as we welcome to address you, Senator Lawrence Hisop.
Roxborough, good evening. PNM people, good evening. You know, we had a wonderful time last night in Plymouth, and we want to bring that same energy tonight in Roxborough. You know, the weather has us changing locations, but that's just how the PNM does it. We adapt, and we can change when we need to change, brothers and sisters. Let me at this time recognize in our midst the political leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement, Mr. Ansel Dennis. Make some noise for Brother Dennis, man. Let me also recognize the lady who continues to be our standard bearer in Tobago East, a woman who is no stranger to you, a woman who has walked the walk, talked the talk, and continues to be a servant of the people, Mrs. Ayana Webster-Roy. Make some noise. I want to also recognize the minority leader. We have now coined him the David amongst the giants in the Tobago House of Assembly. But the more and more the minority leader speaks, is the less the giants become, because he continues to grow from strength to strength. Brother Kelvin Morris. I want to also recognize former assemblyman in our midst, Assemblyman Handel Beckles. I am looking to see if I see anybody else, but I don't. Yeah. And I also want to welcome those who have come to join us from Tobago West, because we are one people's national movement. And so we stand together with each other. I want to also recognize those who are viewing us online, because the message that is being broadcast from this platform night after night, the People's National Movement platform, is one about responsible governance, is one about sober governance, and is one about governance that has delivered throughout our 2 terms in office so far within this modern context. And I want to say that we are going to continue to deliver into our 3rd term, and we are going to deliver with Ayana Webster-Roy in the east and Shamfoko Joe Lewis in the west. You see, brothers and sisters, I want to remind us we are in the 2nd tongue of Tobago, a place that is near and dear to all Tobagonians, a place that has significant historical context for Tobago. And it is a place that the government has not left out. You see, there is this belief that if you're in the east, you're rural. But the People's National Movement government has proven to the people of Tobago East that we are for all of Tobago. Because every major infrastructural project that you can look at in Roxborough has been done by a People's National Movement government. Every major project in this community has been delivered and has been given positive impact to this community. And not only this community, but the communities close by as far as Lansome and Charlottesville. Every project that was done in Roxborough was to the benefit of Roxborough, was to the benefit of Charlottesville, was to the benefit of people in Crown Point, was to the benefit of every single Tobagonian and Trinidad and Tobagonian. And you see, brothers and sisters, you have heard us over and over again talk about buildings and infrastructure development. But pay close attention to this, because I want us to understand that you in Tobago East may think that something is still missing as a citizen. And you have a right to think that, because the government puts itself in a position to take care of you. And even if the hospital is built, and the administration complex is built, and the fire station and the police station is built, and you still think that something is missing, that is what advocacy is about. And that is what your member of parliament is about. Because, brothers and sisters, make no mistake, it was the advocacy of Ayana Webster-Roy, the advocacy, the representation of Ayana Webster-Roy that brought every single infrastructural development to the people of Tobago East. And you see, I think Minority Leader used the phrase last night, made popular by former Chief Secretary Mr. Orville London. You see, brothers and sisters, there's a difference between fighting and fighting up. And this lady has proven that she has the fight in her to fight for you. Ayana don't need to fight up. She has fight, but she don't need to fight up. Because when she sits around a cabinet table, brothers and sisters, she has the respect of her colleagues. And so when she says, we know another constituency in Trinidad could get a hospital, but Ayana says, Roxborough needs a hospital. The women of Tobago East, as she has said time and time again, deserve health care. That they don't have to be rushing down to Signal Hill or Scarborough to get health care. And I don't know about you, but I have been hearing good things about Roxborough Hospital. And for all who want to lay claim to them operationalize it, and the truth is they only operationalize it halfway. We give them a building ready to go. And the most they could do is give you halfway delivery in terms of operationalization. And that is what that current administration is known for. Halfway or nothing at all. You see, brothers and sisters, I want you to look back for all those who reside in Roxborough and Charlottesville. I want you to look back 20 years and even 10 years and think about how Roxborough used to look 10 years ago. Tell me. We had a health center 10 years ago. What you have now? What you have now? A hospital. 10 years ago, you had a police station on top of Station Street that used to give you trouble to get to. What you have now? Proper police station that you could just take your time and walk in if you have a problem. Yeah? Tell me. Well, the fire station was always there. But wait now, man. Take your time, Brother Morris. The fire station was there. But when they wanted to just renovate the fire station, Ayana said, we don't need renovation. We need a new fire station. Brothers and sisters, that is what you are getting from this woman. But you know something about the hospital? I hear a certain man say, Parson had to christen the picnic first. And so I am sure if you go through the employee list at the hospital, you are going to get more than 80% of the people working in the hospital outside of Roxborough. Now bear this in mind, I don't have a problem with people from Tobago East getting employment at the hospital. But what about the people in Roxborough? What about the people in Roxborough? The chief secretary is saying to you, you're not good enough to work in the hospital. That is what he's saying. And you have to ask yourself in Roxborough tonight, what's wrong with Roxborough? Nothing is wrong with Roxborough. And the reason for that is that the People's National Movement has proven to you that nothing is wrong with Roxborough. Because what Scarborough get, what Crump Point get, what Mason Hall get, Roxborough could get. And in some instances, Roxborough better than everywhere else, Ayana.
PNM.
You see, I want to say something to us. Let's not act like nothing had happened. We could talk the talk, you know. We could carry on and make bacchanal. And as they say, Hasikara, we could carry on like that. Because it's good for the politics. But let me do behave like nothing had happened. Don't let people fool you and tell you nothing had happened in Tobago in the last 10 years. Something had to be wrong with them. They had to have scales on their eyes. Because I could tell you, you drive from Charlottesville to Crump Point and you have seen delivery by the People's National Movement in every single community. You see, the problem with this administration is that they've been there for 4 years. And I hear they're saying it's not a THA election. We know it's not a THA election. We understand that this election is about electing members of parliament who can go and sit in the Red House and make sense. And not only that, it's about electing a prime minister Because the question was asked in Plymouth and has been asked over and over again. Ask them on the other side, who is the prime ministerial candidate? And they don't know. At one point in time, we're hearing a conversation under the table with a prime ministerial candidate. And then on the other occasion, the man saying, we're going on our own. What sense that making? What sense that making? Because you see, what we are doing and what we have proven over the last 10 years, brothers and sisters, is that with sober representation by Ayanna and Shamfa, these women have been able to sit at the cabinet table and say to their 39 other colleagues in Trinidad, this is what we want for Tobago. And with a former prime minister from Tobago, they go say he's a little biased, but that is all right. We deserve to be treated a little biased sometimes. And so our airport that was promised to us over and over again, Dr. Keith Rowley and Ayana and Shamfa delivered. A hospital that was promised to the people of Roxborough over and over again, Dr. Keith Rowley, Ayana and Shamfa delivered. And they could talk all they want. The PNM is about delivery. I know what the issue is, you know. When you belong to an institution that can stand the test of time, close to 70 years, and still batting, and still delivering for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, anybody else who are upstarts does vex. And listen, the reality is, as an upstart, you could win one or two matches, you know. As an upstart, you could win one or two matches. But when you talk about the long haul, and when you talk about delivery, you talk about the people's national movement. Brothers and sisters, I want to close on this. PNM. I had the unfortunate privilege of listening to a conversation this morning on a particular radio station by the Secretary of Tourism and a secretary who has been missing in action. Secretary, where is the Assistant Secretary for Works now? Yes, missing in action. But he find him out in this election. And I want to quote the Secretary for Tourism very carefully. And the Secretary for Tourism says, a PNM central government is an enemy of Tobago. That is the audacity of the Secretary of Tourism to say that a PNM central government is an enemy to Tobago. Well, I never hear more madness than that. Because I don't know if you have an enemy that need an airport, that you're building it. I don't know if you have an enemy that need a hospital, you're building it. I don't know if you have an enemy that requires its subvention every month that you're giving to the tune of $10 billion in the last 4 years. If that is an enemy, I don't want to see a friend. PNM. Because you get $10 billion over the last 4 years from a PNM central government, and you are calling them an enemy of Tobago. PNM, PNM. I don't know if you have an enemy and you have an oil spill on your shores that will threaten your tourism product, threaten your way of life for the fishermen and the tourmen, that your enemy is going to fork out over $200 million to get you out of that. I don't know what kind of enemy is that. But if that is the enemy that they're talking about, I am proud to be part of the people's national movement. And then she went on to speak about the autonomy issue and talk about the PNM does walk out whenever the autonomy conversation come up. That we just walk out. Who the gods first want to destroy, they make mad. So I don't understand that in 1980, when Ayana Robinson and Winston Murray sought to establish the modern Tobago House of Assembly, and Winston Murray was left alone, it is the People's National Movement that stood up with Winston Murray and said, listen, we will carve what we need to carve, fix what we need to fix at committee stage. And brothers and sisters, that is what the committee stage of the parliament is about. Because I could tell you something, if the TPP and the UNC were serious about giving Tobago autonomy, they would have sit down the last time, allow the bills to get to committee stage, and if you have a problem with something, it fix it.
PNM.
But not them.
PNM.
And so the PNM has proven that on every account, it is about Tobago. It is about Trinidad and Tobago. So don't let it fool you with that old talk that the PNM does walk out. Because I could tell you there is an actual bill that was passed in the House that required the support of the People's National Movement MPs. The Tobago Island Government Bill is passed, and you could check the records of the Hansard of the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Every single PNM MP that was in the House that day, including your Ayana Webster-Roy, voted in favor of that bill. The one that we needed the support of the opposition. They're in cahoots with the UNC, taking instructions from TPP. The UNC taking instructions from the TPP. Say we are voting. And allowed the constitutional amendment bill to die. A bill that would have given Tobago $1.4 billion more. But you see, and that is per year. But you see, the problem with that is, if you can't spend 10 billion. And so, brothers and sisters, when I heard the Secretary of Tourism talking this morning, I said, under the Secretary of Tourism, the tourism sector is dead. But you want to come and talk about the PNM being the enemy of Tobago? The enemy of Tobago sits in the Executive Council of the Tobago House of Assembly.
PNM.
The enemy of Tobago is currently the PP administration. Because when they came in to the THA, they sought to destroy every single sector. It's either they deliberate or they can't manage.
PNM.
But either way, they destroy Tobago.
PNM.
And so, brothers and sisters, the only administration that is holding back Tobago is Anchor. Because in order
PNM.
because brothers and sisters, ask any boatman. If your boat had to sail, you can't sail the boat with the anchor down. And that is why Tobago is stagnated. That is why Tobago is dying. Because we have an anchor holding down the boat of Tobago.
PNM.
And so I want to say to my brothers and sisters here and those listening, you see April 28th, start, we are raising it enough. We're cutting it clean.
PNM.
We are raising no anchor. Because it's time enough that Tobago starts to sail again.
PNM.
And them people who decide to choose a symbol to hold us back says to me who they are. They don't care about Tobago. And so, brothers and sisters, we have serious work to do come April 28th. As I said last night, stop taking those things for granted. We have gotten accustomed to a standard of living based on people's national movement, government policy. Do not take those things for granted. Find every single person you know. According to a man, when the man said they beat him up, you could vex with the PNM, you know. You could vex. You could vex with Ayana. You could vex with Ansil. You could vex with Kelvin. But you can't vex with yourself. Because this election is about self-interest. This is about the interests of your children, your grandchildren. Because the things that we take for granted, the things that we have experienced, if we take God out of our thoughts and stay home, if your stay home is a vote for the TPP, come out, put your X by the balize, make sure you put it inside the box so they don't consider your ballot as damaged. Come out, take your time, look for Ayana name and the symbol, because I want to tell you something. She almost down to the bottom of the ballot paper. Take your time. Read the ballot paper. Her name is there. Look for the symbol. The symbol is there. Make no mistake, brothers and sisters. The symbol is the balize. Your candidate in Tobago East is Ayana Webster-Roy. Your candidate in Tobago West is Shamfako Joe Lewis. Brothers and sisters, make no mistake. We are going to win this election if we do what we are supposed to do. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail.
PNM coming.
You know in Kaiso, when a man put on a big work on the stage, he just go backstage and ask, how you following that? How you following that? And you know, I like where he went. He went in the area where he pointed out what the PNM would have been doing over the years. But those of there who came and said they will fix it. When we drive from Bacalet to Charlottesville, all we could see is that they scrap it. When we look at the sporting facility that Ansil and Tracy and they were building Bacalet, what happened? They scrap it. When you come to Goodwood, what did they do? They scrap it. When you go into Roxborough and the agricultural program that Mr. as Chief Secretary was promoting and producing for the people there, having them produce thousands of tons of produce, what they do? They scrap it. So it's really not fixing set of people, it's a scrapping set of people. And they scrap so much that when Tobago thought they voted PDP, what they did? They scrapped that too. Brothers and sisters, don't allow them to scrap you. On the 28th, you must go and vote resoundingly, not just for Ayana Webster-Roy, but also for Shamfa. And on that day, we're going to sing it out loud. The PNM is great. At this time, my brothers and sisters, I'm going to bring on to you, well, how are you following that? The minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly. Let's put our hands together, Tobago. Let's put our hands together, Tobago East, as we bring on stage to address you, Comrade Kelvin Morris.
We got this. Hey, we got this. Hey, hey.
family, Argyle family, Delaford family, Tobago East family, PNM family, good night. The
PNM.
vibes in here, we're feeling good. Tonight is a good night. Permit me to recognize in our midst our political leader, the hard-working brother Ansel Dennis,
PNM.
our party chairman here in Tobago, brother Larry Paul,
PNM.
our standard bearer, your current member of parliament for Tobago West,
PNM.
Tobago East, next member of parliament for Tobago East,
PNM.
a hard worker,
PNM.
a diligent woman, an intelligent woman, a woman who simply gets it done, Mrs. Ayana Webster-Roy.
PNM.
And brothers and sisters, let us hear it again for our senator who brought the fire, who brought the information, who brought the education,
PNM.
brother Lawrence Hisop. And of course, I'd like to recognize our chairman, and I think his next Kaiso might just be named, they scrap it.
PNM.
Brother Punchin. Yes, and of course, in her absence, because we are feeling the spirit, we have the presence of our PNM brothers and sisters from Tobago West. We welcome you to Tobago East. Let me recognize former Assemblyman Handel Beckles in our midst as well. Party members all, PNM family all. And you know, this is what you get on a PNM platform. It is about education, information, and class. So on this platform, you would not hear anyone describing Tobagonians in the most derogatory way. You won't hear us using any words to demean Tobagonians. We are about uplifting and improving the lives of every Tobago resident, whether you're in Tobago East or you are in Tobago West. And tonight, as I stand here, it is so easy to endorse the candidacy of Ayana Webster-Roy and Shamfa Kujo. And the reason why it is so easy is because we have two representatives who would have actually performed and delivered on behalf of the people of Tobago. As a matter of fact, as we stand here in Tobago East and Roxborough in particular, Roxborough is the footprint upon which really represents the development of the People's National Movement between 2015 and 2025. You can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it, and in many ways you can even walk into it, because whether you are going to the hospital, whether you are going to the police station, whether you are going to the fire station or the administrative complex, these infrastructural development have been brought to you by Ayana Webster-Roy and the People's National Movement. Brothers and sisters, you know, Brother Lawrence gave us a wealth of information. And one of the things he ended up by is talking about elections being about your interests, you the voter. And I want to share with you all a story tonight as to how sometimes we can vote against our own interests if we do not make the right choice. I recall when during the 2021 elections, I was invited by a private institution to have a discussion with some of the workers. Those workers were working for a firm that provides service to the Tobago House of Assembly. And of course, I went there and I shared with the workers, and I was clear. At no time I indicated to the workers who they should vote for. However, I simply reminded the workers that this institution that they are working for is providing a number of service to the Tobago House of Assembly. And it is by way of those services that the institution is providing to the THA, that is what is providing their daily sustenance and their employment. So I simply encourage the workers to vote in their best interests. Perhaps some folks found it offensive, and therefore that was recorded and that was put out into the social media. And at that time, I was ridiculed to no end for sharing that simple advice to these workers. Brothers and sisters, as I stand here tonight, 3.5 years later, that very company is one of those Tobago-based companies that have been blacklisted by this current administration. And you know what? Because they are not getting any work at this time, they had to relieve the employment of every single worker in that company to the tune of over 1,200 Tobagonians. And brothers and sisters, I share this story to you to remind you that voting have consequences. And just as how these workers perhaps ignored the advice and the recommendation and voted against their interests because now they are unemployed, unable to provide for their family, we have another situation in front of us. And the situation we have is that you have a PNM administration and 2 Tobago representatives that under their tenure, not one public servant can truthfully say that they have lost their jobs. But of course, at this time, there is a conversation in the space about back pay, and some of us didn't get back pay, notwithstanding the fact that it is their union who refused what was on offer, because as you know, there are some unions who took what was on offer and are now in front again of the bargaining table, negotiating another offer on the table. But of course, the UNC currently is trying to mamagai people and trying to entice people by telling them they would give them 10% back pay. Notwithstanding every economist worth their pound of salt is saying to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, that what is on offer based on the current economic climate of the country is simply unsustainable. It just cannot be, it just cannot work. And I am reminded by a resident who shared with me another story, that in 1986, just as it is now, they too were faced with that similar situation, where on offer at the time by a responsible PNM administration was the offer of 6%. And of course, because you had others wanting to get their hands on power, they offered 10%. And a number of persons again, with the option to choose the 6%, that was, of course, responsible and manageable, decided to go for the butter, the juicy 10%. And right after those persons got your votes, got into power, of course, instead of receiving 10% pay increase, public servants received 10% pay cut. And more than that, they also took away their COLA. So whereas you were in a situation thinking that you were voting in your interest because you would get an increase, you in fact voted against your interest by getting a pay cut. And I say I have these sober conversations tonight simply to remind you again that voting have consequences. And at every juncture, you have the option of a responsible PNM administration that will do what is right by every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, and you have the others that will simply make promises to you to get into power, and then when they get what they have to get, they turn around and make decisions that are not in your interest. And therefore, my brothers and sisters here tonight, I want to remind you, even as the TPP came to you, you would remember some of those promises. You young men, remember them promising you the URP workers and the CPEP workers. They said to you that first thing they would do is increase your salary to $5,000. You remember that? They also told you that they will make every one of you permanent. You remember that? Did you receive that $5,000? Did they make you permanent? Remember, they promised you something called an ex gratia. And when they promised that ex gratia, they were clear in their mind that that ex gratia will be a payment of $10,000 to every public servant within the Tobago House of Assembly. You didn't have to do anything. They say it's just for so. And brothers and sisters, even as they paid some people an ex gratia after we had to remind them and remind them and remind them, did you get $10,000? Brothers and sisters, it didn't stop there. They told every contract worker, they said, we will done away with this contracting and we will make every one of you permanent, so you would no longer have to worry about job security. After 3.5 years, have they made you, the contract workers, permanent? In fact, rather than making contract workers permanent, they went through the length and breadth of the THA and they fired many contract workers. So, brothers and sisters, what you have before you are people who you cannot just take their word. You just can't trust that they will say whatever they say they're going to do, that they will actually do it. On the other hand, you have your responsible, reliable representative here in Tobago East, a woman of action, a woman who has delivered, a woman who will, whatever she says she's going to do, she gets it done. And that is what you want from your representative, brothers and sisters. You want honesty, you want decency, you want integrity, you want a woman that you can trust her word. Because one thing about Ayanna, I could tell anybody, if it can be done, it will be done. And if If this situation is such that perhaps on this occasion it cannot be done, she will tell you as it is. No mamagism, no half-truths, no lies. She will level with you, and that is what you want. Because ultimately, the people who you put to govern your affairs, it is a pact. It is a covenant between you and your representative. It is like a relationship. And when you enter any relationship, you want to know that whoever you are in a relationship with, you can trust their word. And with Ayana Webster-Roy, you can trust her word.
PNM.
But the reverse, can we say that of those on the other side? We have living examples of promises made, promises not delivered. When you drive the length and breadth of Tobago East, it is a story of neglect by the Tobago House of Assembly. And you know, one of the things I want to address, because it's important for us to understand the role of the Member of Parliament and the role of the Tobago House of Assembly. Because you see, in every area that Ayanna is responsible for, as issues arise, Ayanna advocates for you, the people in Tobago East, and you, the people in Tobago, around the cabinet table, and we get them solved. That is what happened with the fast ferry. Yes, it's because governance issues will always pop up. And that is why you have representatives. Their responsibility is, as issue come, they are able to represent these issues to the places where the decisions have to be made and ensure you get solutions. And that is what Ayanna has done for you, the people of Tobago East. When we had issues with Inter-Island Ferry, Ayanna and Shamfa ensured that they advocated for the people of Tobago, and no longer are we leasing fast ferries. We own two of the best fast ferries across the world. That is performance, that is delivery. So you have to understand what your Member of Parliament is responsible for. And even as we look at the responsibility of the Member of Parliament, ensuring that we have sustainable delivery of water, ensuring that they came and desilted the Hillsborough Dam, spending hundreds of millions, something that was promised years and years and years ago, Ayanna has delivered. But what of your Tobago House of Assembly? What they are doing in these elections, again, they are dishonest. They are not leveling with you. The very things that they are responsible for, you know what they're doing when people come to them and highlighting their failures? They are trying now to blame the central government. They are now telling people, imagine the 5th schedule item, because the THA really and truly is responsible for the day-to-day operations of Tobago. So your playing fields, your schools, your health centers, your community centers, even providing employment, because they control all the major areas of employment in Tobago. So you young people, if you are finding it difficult to get jobs in Tobago, that is not Ayanna's responsibility. That is the responsibility of the Tobago House of Assembly. So don't let them fool you. That Goodwood Pavilion, that is a Tobago House of Assembly facility. Look at the roads. Think about it. They are busy building roads to nowhere, spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, giving it to their UNC financiers, while we can't even drive properly on the roads that they're supposed to maintain and fix. So while they continue to fail and abdicate from their responsibility, not doing the things that they are responsible for, they are busy trying to point fingers and change the conversation, because you know they like to change the narrative that has been part and parcel of who they are. So when you bring the points to them and you ask them, why aren't you fixing, or why have you neglected the Backlet indoor facility? They are turning around and telling you, well, it's the central government because UDCOT didn't fix it. Brothers and sisters, again, lie, that is lie. And let me tell you something about this UDCOT situation very quickly. I recall in the Tobago House of Assembly legislature during a debate, Secretary Trevor James is on record on the Hansard of the Assembly saying to all Tobagonians, we don't need UDCOT doing any work for us here. In fact, we are getting rid of UDCOT and we will empower EIDCOT, because EIDCOT is a Tobago-based company and we should be dealing with our Tobago projects by a Tobago company. That is Trevor James' record in the House. So how come now when all you run into problems, or you stop UDCOT from completing the projects, all of a sudden you're telling Tobagonians that is UDCOT's fault? Brothers and sisters, we have to understand we have people in the assembly that will lie through their teeth. And as I said to you all before, when I took those symptoms to my physician, he told me that is the symptoms of a disease called diabetes. They just can't help it, and it is contagious. Listen to them. Imagine Tomo just come, barely spent 3 weeks amongst them, and he infested with diabetes. Lying and lying and lying. That is all you get from them. So brothers and sisters, you know, I woke up this morning and you know, when people don't want to support the PNM, they just find all kind of reasons. And I'm hearing somebody, I saw a thing, all the PNM doing is putting people to AI and audio tapes, and they're not talking no plans. And I'm saying, have they been listening the PNM's platform? Have they been listening our intelligent member of parliament who one can stand on her record and also tell you how we will continue to build on her record? Have you listened Lawrence Hisop? Have you listened Shamfa Kujo? Have you listened our political leader Ansel Dennis? And if they want plans, the PNM have a lot of plans, because we are clear in how we are going to go about from the central government level in developing Tobago. So if they want plans, I will tell them about some of the plans. We are building Tobago on a platform of tourism, and it is for that reason why your Tobago-born former Prime Minister, along with your 2 representatives, ensure that the government invested, not from the THA, but from the coffers of Trinidad and Tobago in very scarce and demanding times, over $1 billion to build a first-in-class international airport terminal. Because tourism starts with having a gateway, and that airport is the gateway that would open Tobago to the world. And now that we have that airport, we are saying that we are also going to engage some of the best leading hotel developers in the world to come to Tobago to leverage their influence so that they can bring the flights, bring the visitors, and so create the opportunities for all of our people.
PNM.
When we invest and when we bring properties like Marriott and Sandals, it means jobs and quality jobs. It means opportunities, because what we learn from Sandals is that they don't just employ people just like that. You have to go through training. They have their own university, and with them the sky's the limit, because however far you want to go, the university allows you to continue upskilling and improving. And so the people, the young people of Tobago, your future is bright under the People's National Movement. We are talking about a marina, and a marina is one of those sectors, one of those areas that provides wide-scale opportunities. Because you're not talking simply about the people who are coming. You will need people to do boat repairs. You will need concessionaires. They too will need places to stay. You are talking about foreign exchange, because that is one of the areas that brings in a lot of foreign exchange. So that marina opportunity is another opportunity for employment and skills development as well, because you require a lot of highly skilled people to provide the services there. And therefore, that is further opportunity for our young people. We are talking about training, real skills development through MyLat, Empower TT, collaborating with MP Foster Cummings and all they are doing with the youth development in Trinidad, bringing it to Tobago to ensure that you, the young people, have the skills to provide for all the sectors that we will be developing. We are talking to you, the farmers. Agriculture is one of those big areas where you now, who didn't before, have a ready market. When you have these hotels and the type of level of consumption that they have to provide on a daily basis, you will not have enough produce to even supply one hotel, much less two. It means that farming will become something that is extremely lucrative. It means you, the fishermen, Sandals have one of their restaurants is a seafood restaurant, so the amount of fish and lobster and shrimp and all these things they would require. You, the fisherman, if you think you're making money now, trust me, that is when you will be making money. So on the PNM platform, we have a clear plan of development. Because while others talk, you have a secretary who she has flown all over the world, spent $25 million in airfare. She alone would have racked up a per diem of over $1.5 million. $1.5 million in per diem over 3.5 years. And if you ask the Secretary of Tourism, what is her, the per diem is basically the spending money they give you to cover accommodation and food. So every time you travel, you get that allowance, right? And because she has traveled so much, if you do the analysis and based on my information, it is over $1 million in per diem over this 3.5 years. So while you, the young man, they are giving you 10 on, 10 off as the best thing they believe you are worth. You have secretaries where the per diem is worth more than what you are working for 4 years. So while, remember they told you they were about bread and butter business? So while you still can't feed your family and you going to bed hungry, the same people who were telling you about bread and butter, they're now eating with knife and they're eating with fork and they're eating ham, lamb, jam and lobster. So don't be fooled, brothers and sisters. This election we would have our time with them. And for those of you who are loyal to the Chief Secretary, this is not an election for the Chief Secretary. This is an election for the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And in this election, you know who are your two PNM candidates. We have Action Ayana and we have Fiery Shamfa, and both of them have delivered. We have Stuart Richard Young, energetic, intelligent, a visionary young man that has proven himself across the length and breadth. Wherever he was placed, he performed. And as Lawrence asked tonight, who is the Prime Minister of the TPP? And can 2 seats give you a Prime Minister? So, and I hear them talking about negotiating. Can 2 seats out of 41 give you autonomy? Can they pass any bill in the parliament with 2 seats? So what are we wasting with time going with them? Brothers and sisters, this is about electing a prime minister. In the PNM, your 2 representatives are Ayana Webster-Roy here in Tobago East, Shamfa Kujo in Tobago West. Your prime minister is Stuart Richard Young, and the others are no contest. So brothers and sisters, remember to tell a friend, encourage a friend, young people, do not stay away from this election. This is about your future. This is about you getting quality jobs, high-paying jobs. This is about you ensuring that the future of Trinidad and Tobago is in a path of development and growth. And therefore, you young people, more than anybody else, take charge of your interests. Brothers and sisters, and when we take charge of our interests, and when we vote for high sustainable jobs. We vote for a party of stability. We vote for opportunity. We vote for a better Tobago, a better Trinidad and Tobago. And we will vote for the people's national movement. And as we always say, when we vote, and we vote for Ayana, Shamfa, and the PNM, we will all sing and on that fateful night of April 28th. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we have prevailed. I thank you, I love you.
Well, like the thing now getting hot. You know when I asked you, Kelvin, how you're following that? I like the way you responded. Brothers and sisters, I want you to know tonight, wherever you are, be you under this pristine environment, this building, whether you are on the outside in your tens and in your hundreds, whether you are on social media, I want you to know tonight that if there's a message that must be told, it must be told from the platform of the People's National Movement. And we are gathered here tonight to speak only one thing. And that is the truth, as only can be spoken by a platform staged by the People's National Movement. In other words, what I'm telling you tonight is that we have it all. We have it all. And I heard Kelvin, and I heard him spoke about what well, I almost said PDP, but it's TPP now, right? What they promised, well, the TPP or PDP, the what? All right. But the point I want to make essentially is this. When they said that they were fixing, You know, I've retired from the union. But when I'm supposed to be home, relaxing and enjoying the fruits of my labor, I have to be fighting up and down in Trinidad, trying to treat with those persons that they would have fired from TADCO, and those persons that they would have fired from URP in the management area structure, and those persons that they would have sent home, those who resemble PNM because they were sensible, those persons that they promised once they were red, they're gone, and indeed they fulfilled their promise. My brothers and sisters, especially the young people, I'd like for you to take heed. Because when this could be a flary, hyped political season, as proclaimed by those in blue and whatever other color, you have a conscious decision to make on the 28th. And the decision that you have to make is whether you are going to vote for the popularity of a man, I will not describe him, whether you're going to vote for the grandeur of a party who speak, or whether you're going to vote for stability, whether you're going to vote for good governance. And if I'm wise and I should advise you, I will advise you to vote for the red, ready and responsible. And if there is somebody who epitomizes those acronyms, my brothers and sisters, is your leader for Tobago East, because she would have led one time, she would have led another time, she would have produced one time, she would have produced another time, and again she's going to produce come the 29th of April. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like for you to put your hands together as we welcome to address you the representative of Tobago East, Sister Ayana Webster-Roy.
Come on, Mr. DJ, play some music here and people enjoy themselves. Come on. Come on, Mr. DJ, some music here and people enjoy themselves.
Team up in the West, yeah. We got this. Hey, we got this. Hey, hey. I cannot wait for election morning. Tell them why. Tell them why. I depend down to me elbow, darling. From space side to Canaan, we're making it through this moment. You are the reason. Higher than higher heights is our limit. So we ain't leaving.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, PNM people. Roxborough people, are your girl the home? Tobago East people, how we feeling? Tobago West people, how are you feeling? Red Army, how are you feeling? We the second tongue of Tobago. Brothers and sisters, permit me to recognize our chairman of the Tobago Council, the hard-working, dedicated Mr. Larry Paul. Permit me to also recognize our political leader for Tobago, Mr. Ansel Dennis. Joining me at the head table, Mr. Lawrence Hisop, the chairman for the Tobago East constituency. We have the minority leader, Mr. Kelvin Morris. One is enough. I want to thank the chairman, Punch, and I want to recognize Assemblyman former Mr. Handel Beckles, as well as the secretary for the Tobago East constituency, Mrs. Beckles, and you, my PNM family, again, I bid you good evening. Brothers and sisters, Lawrence, warm me up. Kelvin, heat me up. And I come to mash it up. You see, the thing is, brothers and sisters, I want to have a serious conversation with everybody this evening. I remember when we walked back a little, and Lawrence walked with me and we got to Mr. Denoon, and he came out and he said to me, he said, I am a strong PNM. And he said, I'm hurt when I hear people saying that the PNM did nothing for Tobago and the PNM never loved Tobago. He said, go out on the highways, go out on the byways, go to every village and every street and tell them the PNM story. He said to me, he said, you know who loved Tobago more than anybody else? The People's National Movement. He said, young Webster, start your story from the days of Robinson. I said, are we boy, Robbie? He said, start your story from there. He said, start your story from there. He said, because when the PNM under Eric Williams wanted to transform Tobago, wanted to take Tobago out of the backwaters of underdevelopment, when Eric Williams wanted to transform all of Tobago and make us great, he said, Robbie told them, take your children and go in front of the appliances and bring them and block them. And he said, you know what was the hurtful thing? He said, Tobagonians, listen to Awi Boy. They turn up. He said, you know what happened? Awi Boy didn't even turn up when average mothers brought their children out on the road to block it. He said, Awi Boy didn't turn up when the fathers brought their little children to block the backhoe on them. He said, Awi Boy didn't turn up because while he riled up Tobagonians of emotions, he knew that Eric Williams had a good plan for us. He said, Awi Boy did that. And my brother spoke earlier. He's told you all that when Awi Boy brought the motion to create the Tobago House of Assembly, when Awi Boy decided to walk out on his own motion, it was Winston Murray, Dr. Winston Murray, God rest his soul, and PNM people who gave us the first Tobago House of Assembly. And brothers and sisters, again, it's another Awi Boy that set me up. I remember I was in the parliament. I contributed to the debate. I went out to almost every single community with my team PNM, my PNM family. We presented to Tobagonians on all aspects of the two bills. We told you what the island government bill would bring to the people of Tobago. We told you all how important it was for us to reform constitution, to give life to the island government bill. And Awi Boy again. When are we on? Sell we out. This afternoon I said to someone, I said when we got the first bill to pass, I started to celebrate. I said, Shamfa, it's gonna be a good day. And then I started to see phones start to move up on the opposition side, and my belly start to bubble. Then I see message start to pass around, and Saddam start to watch me and laugh, and my belly bubble some more. And then I hear Prime Minister say, I just get a WhatsApp message here, and I say, Shamfa, don't tell me that after all our work, after all our sacrifice, that after all our we Tobagonians, we hope and we aspirations in another Awi Boy, we getting sell out. And when Saddam looked at me and said, you ain't getting it, you know, we get instructions, don't pass that. Brothers and sisters of Tobago East, I tell you now, you're like woman today. I cry in the parliament. I went out in the toilet and I put on some tears. Not for me, no, I put on some tears because Awi Boy, betrayed Tobago. Awi Boy, another Tobago East boy, another country boy, betrayed the whole of Tobago. For what? For what? To be able to rub shoulders with somebody who always placed Tobago on the back burner. To rub shoulders just for power, to rub shoulders for greed, to rub shoulders for self-aggrandizement, to rub shoulders to say that you stifle it, another are we boy. But let me tell you something. All your girl got to stay standing in the gap. Tobago East. Tobago East. Tobago East. Let me tell you something. I said to a young man today, I said, I know I'm going to win my seat safe because I do the work. But are we girl standing in the gap, telling all our Tobago East and Tobago West and all our Trinidad, we need 31 seats to give away autonomy. We need 31 seats to restore the dignity to the people of Tobago. We need 31 seats to give us what we deserve as a people. And brothers and sisters, if you plan to seminar, vote because Ayana, she doesn't talk to people. You have to vote for the 31 we need to give it back with autonomy. You are telling you Tobago East and Tobago West. You are telling your Trinidad and Tobago people, we need 31 to ensure that Tobago restores her pride and her dignity. I listen to my opponents, and I hear they say going Trinidad to fight up in Parliament, and who going to take 2 seats and become Prime Minister? 2 out of 41 in a majority. So if when you were leader of one organization and you had the ability to negotiate on behalf of thousands of public servants, I ain't forget, for a time we call us 5%. If it is that you want to say go in Trinidad and lose 2 to negotiate to become Prime Minister, let me ask you a question. Who in their right mind, a negotiator, a strategist, gonna take 2 and make them rule them? They ain't God. The other side telling me to go down and they're going to negotiate and they're going to link up. Let me tell you something. If you ain't voting PNM, you're obviously voting UNC. If you're not stamping your ex by the Valley, you're obviously voting Tanti Kams and she banda tips. If you're not stamping your ex next to Ayana Webster-Roy in Tobago East, and Shampoko Lewis in Tobago West, you're obviously rolling with the Red Brigade. Not. You're rolling with the yellow code. And we know we ain't about yellow and codes. We are about red, ready, and responsible. We are about policies for the development of our people. We are about taking Trinidad and Tobago on a journey of development. We are about navigating safely through turbulent geopolitical times. And as Lawrence said, you can't navigate through turbulent economic times if you anchor down. You have to lift your anchor to sail. You have to lift your anchor if you want to sail Trinidad and Tobago to a brighter tomorrow for your children and your children's children. If you want to go towards a horizon of new days, new beginnings, new opportunities, you have to lift your anchor and move Tobago alongside Trinidad. And the only captain to captain SS Trinidad and Tobago is Stuart Young. Brothers and sisters, the only able see men and see women come from Team PNM. You can't risk your children and them on a pickup side. You can't risk your children and them on a team that doesn't have the best interests of the people of Trinidad and Tobago at heart. Let me ask you a question. They're telling you, we go find the money. That's the response. When you ask them, we're going to get the funds to do all the things you're promising. We go find the money by ruling out mismanagement in the public sector and corruption. I end that all. But in my 45 years on God's good earth, the most corrupt, kleptomaniac administration I ever encountered was run under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. So you want to tell me, with me good base school education, and me good bishop's high school education, and me master's and first degree, that I must go back in the past and pick up rubbish to bring in the future? Brothers and sisters, you can't gamble. You can't gamble with your destiny. You can't gamble with your children. This is not about a now thing. This is about tomorrow. This is about selecting the people to take Trinidad and Tobago forward, even as we face bullying from some jurisdiction, even as we face challenges from some jurisdictions that feel because they're big and they're bad, they could trample us. We need somebody who is strong, somebody who is competent, somebody who is a sober statesman, somebody who is a strategist. We need someone who has plans and programs for the development of the people of Trinidad and Tobago to take us forward. You can't find that in sister camps. Brothers and sisters, you can't. Trinidad and Tobago, we deserve better. We deserve better than to go back down the road of the yellow ship. We deserve better than to go back down the road of the yellow crew, because we know how they distress me and they surely distress you. Brothers and sisters, Tobago East, this is not the time to play your gambling with your future.
PNM.
Or you say PNM didn't do anything, right? Let me give away some track records. The same PNM that gave us our independence is the same PNM in our time that removed income tax from all persons who earn in less than $7,500. The same PNM that gave us free education from the first stages of the independence of this country is the same PNM in our time that reduced value-added tax to 12.5%. The same PNM that ensured Tobago moved from a cow-shed airport to a spanking new terminal. It's the same PNM in our time that gave Tobagonians 2 spanking new ferries. The same PNM that gave us trade schools and youth camps. It's the same PNM in our time that gave us over 40 new courses to young people. The same PNM that ensured women were able to work in the public sector and the public service after getting married is the same PNM that gave the teachers an increase in pay and the back pay in 2020. The same PNM that ensured that in our communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago, we got community centers, health centers, and multiple facilities. It's the same PNM in our time that gave out over 20,000 book grants to vulnerable children. The same PNM that gave us high schools is the same PNM that gave out over 80,000 laptops to teachers and students. And it's the same PNM that gave us gates. It's the same PNM in our time that gave to Tobago and Trinidad's young people over 600 scholarship and bursary opportunities. I know plenty people from country, plenty people from Tobago East, whose children were able to pursue the tertiary level education because of the same PNM. It's the same PNM that allowed us to have running water in our homes. It's the same PNM PNM that for today have 61% of our country benefiting from 24/7 water supply. The same PNM that worked and ensured that we got our highway. It's the same PNM in our time that ensured that the people of Charlottesville, Lansome and Bloody Bay got the maxi taxi concessionaire when the bus wasn't working properly. The same PNM. And it's the same PNM when they say Ayana ain't do nothing. The same PNM when I advocated for them to fix the coastline here, to help Zaba Place from sinking away, to help Holly Shop from disappearing. It's the same Ayana, the same PNM that ensured that over 140 young people got internship opportunities at OPM Cast. So when they tell her the PNM did nothing, just tell them it's the same faithful PNM from Eric Williams to George Chambers to Patrick Manning to Keith Rowley to Stuart Young. The same PNM when we continue to sail ship SS Trinidad and Tobago forward. Same PNM. Brothers and sisters, and while I could boast about what Team PNM did over the years, I can tell you what Team PNM will do for you as we travel through, as we journey through the rough waters.
PNM.
Brothers and sisters, the seas might be rough, the journey might be tough, but Team PNM under Captain Stuart Young will take us to a better, brighter tomorrow. And while we go forth on this journey, under Captain Stuart Young, brothers and sisters, I want you to know, because I have my three children here in the audience, I want you to know, I want Kamali to know, that is Team PNM and Captain Stuart Young who are going to reform the education curriculum. Team PNM going to modernize CSEC so that little boys like my own little son would have a better opportunity and a fighting chance. Team PNM under Captain Stuart Young sailing the ship called Trinidad and Tobago would ensure that we increase the opportunities available under technical vocational skills training so that young boys and young girls who are struggling, who have multiple areas of learning, who learn in different ways, would be able to benefit from all the opportunities that a technical vocational skills training opportunity would bring for them. Would give them the opportunity to earn an honest dollar so that when they become adults and they go on to create their own families, they could do it earning real honest money. Same Team PNM. Brothers and sisters, as we go through this journey, as we sail through turbulent waters, as SS Trinidad and Tobago heads to a brighter future, it is Team PNM under Captain Stuart Young that will remove value-added tax from all textbooks and all uniforms, making it more affordable for mothers and fathers and grandmothers and uncles and aunts who are sending their children to school, making it more affordable for them to be able to do it. Brothers and sisters, it's the same PNM that gave us our first set of public housing. It's the same PNM that is taken into consideration today, our first-time homeowners. And Team PNM, as we move towards a better, brighter tomorrow, as we sail this ship forward because no anchor can hold it down. As we sail forward, it is your Team PNM, your Captain Stuart Young, sail in SS and Trinidad and Tobago towards an opportunity where first-time homeowners would be able to access pre-approved town and country house plans for 2 and 3 bedroom homes. Team PNM cared then and we care now. Team PNM. Brothers and sisters, it's the same Team PNM that gave us the social security system in Trinidad and Tobago, where vulnerable persons over the years could benefit from their pension, they could benefit from grants, they could benefit from food support. It's Team PNM under Captain Stuart Young sailing SS Trinidad and Tobago forward. Team PNM that gave a commitment through our captain to double the number of food cards available in the public system, because we recognize if we have to get a competent, empowered people, we must ensure that they have food to survive. And we are going to ensure, your Team PNM, that we review the means test so that our most vulnerable who are currently left out, that you are included, because Team PNM, we have always cared about you. And as I watch some of the seniors in the audience today who walked with me through the rain in Renaissance, as I look at some of the seniors here today who sacrificed their lives over the years helping to build SS Trinidad and Tobago, your captain Stuart Young didn't forget you. Your Team PNM, able sea men and sea women, didn't forget you. As we move into our next term, it is our commitment to ensure that you have easier access to health care by introducing virtual health visits. Because we know at times you may not be able to leave your home, but we want to ensure that you are healthy and that your well-being is our priority. We are going to demonstrate that by putting the doctors into your homes virtually and giving you the support. And because we recognize that after you would have sacrificed for SS Trinidad and Tobago over many years, in your latter days you must be well taken care of. Those of you who worked in the public sector, your pension, your benefits when you retire would be tax-free, because Team Team PNM, we cared back in the days of Eric William, and we cared even now in the days of Stuart Young. Brothers and sisters, I live in my constituency. I live right here in Tobago. I'm raising my children right here, so I know the trials and the tribulations some of our women go through. I get the stories direct. And sometimes it pains me because I respect the THA Act. I respect the 5th schedule. And I know my place within the whole governance structure. But even though over the years I would have tried to build meaningful collaborative relationships and partnerships, we recognize that there are times when Team PNM, when Captain Stuart Young must step in, because we sail in one ship, SS Trinidad and Tobago. And because we recognize that there are so many vulnerable women out there, it is the commitment of Captain Stuart Young and his able seamen and sea women on the Team PNM crew sailing SS Trinidad and Tobago forward, that we have made a commitment to provide more technical and financial support to all NGOs working in Tobago to safeguard battered and abused women and children. It is our commitment to work with civil society to ensure that our vulnerable women and children in Tobago who are battered and abused could find places of safety. Because brothers and sisters, Captain Young and Team PNM, we always PNM. And brothers and sisters, as we continue this journey of development with you, as we continue transforming Trinidad and Tobago with your help, Team PNM would ensure that we further support the agriculture sector so that we not only ensure food security in Tobago and in Trinidad, but that we provide enough food so that once again we could become the food basket. Team PNM. Brothers and sisters, the same Team PNM that gave the students of Charleville Methodist Primary School better electricity supply by introducing solar power is the same Team PNM that ensured that my brothers and sisters in Hope Trace through the booster station could access a better supply of water. And the same Team PNM that gave to my constituents of Bel Air the tank farm is the same Team PNM under Captain Stuart Young that will give to all of Tobago better border security by allocating to the people on the island of Tobago 2 high-speed interceptors once they come into the island. Brothers and sisters, the same Team PNM that was able to negotiate oil and gas deals on our behalf, and even though some bullies may try to trample us and stifle us, is the same Team PNM under Captain Stuart Young with his able PNM seamen and able PNM seawomen going to continue pumping resources and support to the manufacturing sector in Trinidad and Tobago, so that if one area is falling down, another could be buoyed up to support us. Brothers and sisters of Tobago East, brothers and sisters of Roxborough, and I want to talk to my Roxborough people. Roxborough people, let me tell you something. I often joke that Roxborough has my heart, but Roxborough might not like me, but no matter what, I would always love the place that gave me my beginning. And the same awkward, shy, reserved Ayana who stood out and came out of her comfort zone to design old mass for you and play the old mass for you is the same reserved but now brave and bold Ayana. Whether you like me or not, whether you like me or not, whether you're ready or not, you same Ayana going to still stand in the gap for you. Roxborough people, as my sister Birch is saying, Tobago East is only love. I want Roxborough people to know, if it's ever time you need to put aside all your blind loyalty to opposition parties now, if it's ever a time you need to stand behind one or your own girls, is now. Roxborough people, if it's ever a time you need to put aside petty jealousy and spite, is now. Because when I had the opportunity to deliver to the people our country, the people of Roxborough, I put aside my awkwardness, I put aside my shyness, and I went around the cabinet table and I fight for all our Roxborough. And for the people of Tobago East, every man, woman, boy, and girl in Tobago East, the same way I fight for Roxborough, I fight for every single community. There is no community in Tobago East that didn't feel the impact of my roving office there. There is no electoral district in Tobago or East that I didn't go to with my chai and chat. There is no community in Tobago East between 2015 to now. I ain't walk. I walk and I walk and I walk so much. I walk and I walk and I walk so much. They call me Big Bird. But I walk because I care about all of you. Tobago East people, Tobago people, Trinidad and Tobago people. If it's ever time we need you to stand up and stand firmly behind the Red Brigade, is now. If it's ever time we need to stand up and stand behind the People's National Movement, is now. If it's ever time we need to put aside all your differences and stand behind Team PNM, it's now. Because this election is not just about Tobago, it's about Trinidad and Tobago. It's about deciding. It's about deciding who is going to sail the ship through some difficult waters and difficult times. Trinidad and Tobago, Captain Stuart Young and his team of able seamen and able seawomen, we make a worthy crew, and we are willing to navigate SS Trinidad and Tobago to a brighter future. But I ask you to go out on the highways and the byways, to preach the PNM gospel, to tell our wonderful and powerful story, to touch the undecided, to reach the first-time voters, to whisper positive words of affirmation into the ears of every voter. Because if it's ever time Trinidad and Tobago needed the PNM, it's now. Brothers and sisters, since 2015, you're winning with Webby. And in 2025, you're going to win with Webby. Because mark my words, Team PNM, we're going to beat them in the east. We're beating them in the west. We're beating them in the north. We're beating them in the south. And Ayana and Shamp are going to beat them in Tobago. And when we don't rest the good curtail on them, we're going to love them, and we're going to serve them, and we're going to work with all of them, because we are Team PNM, and Team PNM is Team Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, on the night of April 28th, when the last ballot is counted, because I know from tonight you'll go out and do your work. From tonight you're going to canvass like you never canvassed before. From tonight you're going to enter data like you never entered data before. And on the night of April 28th, when we thank God for the victory, we will all say, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM. And we shall always prevail. Thank you.
She said, let me take her to you. I said, take her to me. She said, just relax and let me give it to you. No, no, no. She said, take it easy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, take it easy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, and then she bubble and she bubble and she bubble and wine. Push back is the greatest battle. Push back, roll your waist and battle.
All I want to say, listen, hear me. All I want to say, well, apart from, we have some food and refreshment outside, so you could, if you're not yet filled, hear me out there. If you're not yet filled, you could have some food and other refreshment outside. But brothers and sisters, if Tobago, if Trinidad and Tobago is not warned, well, you can't blame the PNM. You cannot blame Ayana Webster-Roy. You cannot blame Shamfa Kojo. You cannot blame Ansel Dennis. Because I know that Tobago, you're big and you have sense. The word has been spoken. You have listened. And it is upon you to decide what happens after April 28th. I'd like for you to stand as we ask God to take us home safely. That's all I have to say. And remember, Saturday, the whole of Tobago will be in Goodwood. Ayanna, you have anything left? She's going to be there, along with a batch of speakers, where we will be culminating, as it were, our campaign, letting Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago know that the only choice in this election is the group that is ready and responsible. Almighty Father, we want to thank you for tonight. We want to thank you for your outpouring. We want to thank you for the clarity of thought. We want to thank you for your presence. Keep us safe until the 28th, Lord, because we know that on the 28th, Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago will go out and fulfill your blessings, your plea, your wish for Trinidad and Tobago, and that is to vote handsomely and resoundingly for the People's National Movement. It has been spoken. Listen, Trinidad and Tobago. Listen. God bless you. Amen. And great is the PNM. Join
up in the east, yeah. Team up in the west, yeah. We got this. Hey. We got this. Hey. Hey. I cannot wait for election morning. Tell them why. Tell them why. I dipping down to me elbow, darling. From space side to Canaan, we making it through this moment. You are the reason. Higher than higher heights is our limit. No, we ain't leaving. No one behind, we will not desert you. Come on, protect the future. I know we can do this thing, yeah. So right now, now we fix up. Come on, now we link up. Bring a friend, now we build up. Till Tobago has one. Turn the country down low. The PNM is the way that we love. Proper representation. Hey, we got this. We getting it done. We got this. We building it up. We got this. PNM. In the blazing sun. We got this. This journey ain't done. We got this. We building it up. We got this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah.
Oh, na na na. Red and ready, here we all. Red and ready, here we all. Calling out the Red Army. Red and ready, here we all. Yeah, we all. Oh, na na na. Red and ready, here we all. Calling out the Red Army. Red and ready, here we all. Trinidad and Tobago. Red and ready, here we all. Yeah, we all. Yeah, we red and ready now. Calling the Red Army. Calling out all of we friends and family with love for tea and tea. From the mountain top to the valley low.